Hello, my lovely viewers. I just wanted to upload a quick video just messing around in an old version of Minecraft. This is version 1.5.2, and yeah, I used to play this one a lot with my sister. I believe we used to have some weird cracks launcher back in the day, and you could just play 1.5.2 from that, and that was all you could play. There's no updating it. You were stuck on 152 pretty much. Um, I remember once we built this massive coliseum. That was cool until I may have accidentally burnt it down. But you know, these things happen. These things are sent to test us. Alright, why don't I have an axe? I should get myself an axe. So it's got none of the new sort of recipe book interface. You had to be memorizing the recipes back then. But there were mods for it at the time, I think. But I quite liked that. That was part of the game for me. You have to go and look up the recipe, and if you didn't know it and you weren't going to look it up, then you weren't going to find out. So it was part of discovering what the game did, and also it's quite intuitive. Look, two sticks with a block, you've got a spade. So yeah, I mean, I can see why they made it more accessible. Like it's good. It means that other people can play it. It's better for console players. Whoops, what have I done there? But at the time, this was fine because we all played it on. Well, for me and my sister, we were playing on laptops with integrated graphics. We were just messing about on there, building our little worlds. So yeah, just pick that up. Yeah, got into baking my own bread recently. That's I could recommend giving that a go. I think the more and more automation we have in our lives, like the better it is to try and take control of what we can take control of. So don't let things like Uber Eats and supermarkets take away your humanity. If you feel you'd feel more human for going and baking a loaf of bread, you go and bake a loaf of bread. So that's the thing with like just society as it is right now. I think we've tried to optimize the fun out of everything. We've tried to optimize the humanity out of everything. And if you want to go and bake a loaf of bread, and that's going to make you feel better, you're going to feel more human, then I think you should go do that. Absolutely. Perhaps I'll give you a recipe for it now. You take 200 grams of strong bread flour, 1 teaspoonful of yeast, and a pinch of salt. That's all you need. 140 ml of warm water. Mix it all in a bowl until it's looking somewhat doughy. If it seems too sticky at this point, just add a bit more flour until it seems like it won't stick to the worktop. Take it out of the bowl, give it a knead until it's like stretchy. You want to go until it's like somewhat stretchy and sort of pushing back. You'll know when you get there with the kneading. And then it's really quick and easy, just pop it in a bowl for, well, I'd line your tin, I'd grease your tin at this point. I'll just use a bit of fry light myself. Um, put the tin next to the radiator or somewhere warm with a towel over it, and it'll rise into a lovely bread dough after a bit. So give that a go, see what you think to it. But yeah, I mean that's just one thing I've done recently to sort of take back a bit of myself, I guess, because like I say, things like work. Like I think no matter where you work these days, um, you know, there's probably some AI aspect to it, or if there isn't, it's on its way. Um, Maybe you've lost your job to AI, in which case I'm very sorry to hear that. But if you're just feeling like you're getting out of bed, doing the same thing every day, and going back to bed to do another day on the treadmill, then I really would suggest like don't quit your job. There's a lot of YouTube channels that will be like, yeah, go quit your job, go do your own thing. I mean, for some people that works lovely, um, but what you don't hear about is the people who end up homeless after making that decision. So bear that in mind before listening to some of these content creators that just be like, yeah, go quit your job. That's a good idea. You've got to play the game a bit in this world, unfortunately. The game of Minecraft, hopefully. Uh, yeah, I'd also say, do things that make you happy in your spare time. Like, I've gone on about AI a bit in this video, but I'm the kind of person that has a lot of ideas for things. But traditionally, I've been quite poor at executing on these ideas. And sometimes using AI is a way to execute on an idea, or prototype an idea, or just get an idea of whether or not it's worth pursuing, without too much time investment. And some will say that's unethical, but I say we're stuck with it, we may as well use it as a tool. But never, ever, ever at the cost of our humanity, right? We are the people, we've made this technology. We should be the one in control of it, right? So yeah, I would say just do what makes you happy, but make sure you are doing things that make you happy, because plenty of us aren't. Go spend time with the people you love. Go do things that make you feel good in the world. And yeah, I think that's generally good advice. Not that I'm here to give you advice. I'm just playing Minecraft. But got to talk about something, haven't we? And I think the state of the world is probably something to talk about. But yeah, it is a bit miserable though, isn't it? Like, what about you guys? Is there any good indie games you played recently? Um, like, I'm sure there's much better indie games I could be playing right now than an old version of Minecraft. I should be building my little hut soon, actually, because night will be setting in. But I do like this little snowy biome, so I think I'm going to build it here. I'll just do something very basic. In fact, I don't think I want it on the top of this hill. I'd rather have it at the bottom so we can mine through the night. Yeah, that high tower looks pretty cool. I might check that out soon. But yeah, I've been working on some Game Boy projects. Well, I say Game Boy project, one Game Boy project, but also I like the idea of having a platform for people to share their homebrews, but I don't want to think of it as homebrew anymore. Like, I think the big problem we've got at the minute is the rise of, well, the lack of hardware availability, right? But these Retro handhelds are pretty cheap. You can get them pretty much, or I'll say pretty much anywhere. But I saw them in CEX one day the other week. I've seen them on Amazon. I normally get mine from AliExpress, but it's what it is. But yeah, I just think there's probably a bit of an untapped market there for. I mean, I'm revealing my business secrets here, but it's not really a business secret. It needs everyone to make this kind of thing work. But why aren't we using these old consoles as a platform? Like, we should be building new games on top of this old hardware, because it's a standardized platform which uses less resources than a modern Windows or Linux computer. It encourages us to write efficient code, and I just think we could do more with what we already have sooner than trying to push the next thing. Like, if Nintendo released a Game Boy Color tomorrow, and they released a whole bunch of new Game Boy Color games with that sort of original Nintendo quality to it, we would flock to that as nerds, or even just as Nintendo fans. I think people would be buying that. And yeah, like we have the tools to build that kind of ecosystem ourselves. You know, we've got things like GB Studio. We've got it's a police car going back, I think. But we've got GB Studio. We've got GBDK. You know, these things are available to us. Why don't we use it? Why don't we build our own retro revival? Because the more retro games I play, well, the more games I play on these older systems, the more I realise that we don't always need the flashy modern stuff, right? As I mentioned on the channel before, I've been quite enjoying Super Mario Land recently. I just think we could do more with what we already have without necessarily going for the next, you know, 64 gigabytes of RAM. I mean, that's probably not a lot now. I don't know. Maybe people are on 128. I mean, I'm on 24 gigabytes on this laptop. This is just an old XNHS ThinkPad that I got off eBay. It's nothing special, but you know, as you can see, it's all you need. I can get on here, I can play Minecraft and talk to you guys. I'm running Cashier OS on this. It's quite fast for a laptop of its age. It's all you need, really. And you can still put this stuff on eBay, like even after the whole RAM shortage thing. I mean, this came with 8 gig of RAM. It's pre-soldered. That's the thing. Maybe pre-soldered with an expansion slot is the way to go now, because obviously the scalpers can't just go and extract the RAM from that, or the recyclers, I should say. And yeah, the RAM's there. It's ready to go. So maybe that's the way. But you know, you can have a lot of fun with not a lot of hardware. And another idea I've got in the works at the minute is I'd really like something between GB Studio and just plain C++ tools for Game Boy Advance development, because that is a system you can do quite a lot with. I think something like Unity that could export for, or something like Godot that could export for Game Boy Advance would be fantastic. I'm going to need to go and get a cobble pickaxe here. Yeah, something that you can target the Game Boy Advance as a platform for, and actually write your own code for without having to get involved with sort of low-level implementation would be great. Like, I think we could make quite a lot with that. In terms of making a lot of quality content, not as in make a lot of money. I don't want to sell it. If I was to work on that, it'd go out for free. I mean, I've got something in the plans to just sort of vibe code together for Game Boy Advance engine. I don't know how well that's going to work though. So I don't know the ins and outs of Game Boy Advance development. I probably know more about the original Game Boy than Game Boy Advance. But you know, there's things that we could be doing. There's no reason these games couldn't be released on modern platforms like Steam as well. So I just don't think we should write off a platform just because it's not currently supported by its original developers. And I think we need to stop seeing things as homebrew as well, because we see that as a bit of a dirty word. I'm being attacked here. I don't know by what. Ah, God. Right. I don't know where I was. It was a silverfish. I did not know they were in this version of Minecraft. I cannot remember seeing them at all. I don't know where I was there. Did I go this way? Oh, this always used to be a stressful thing in OG Minecraft. Like, you know, you die, you've not got a spawn yet. It's the middle of the night with a skeleton. Oh my god. Yeah, I don't know if we need the latest computers all the time. I'm a developer. I like my technology, but I look at a Windows XP laptop that my mum used to have maybe 20 years ago. God, that's taking me back now. It'd be longer than that, even probably. We were looking at Windows XP. Yeah. Well, yeah, 20 years ago, sure, it would have Windows XP still then if we were avoiding Vista. But yeah, I look at that and I go, right, that could browse the internet. That could play some basic games. That could get on the Flash games, and we could write code on that, and Visual Studio would have started just fine on that. Um, and I just wonder what we've done to software development to end up in the position we're in. You shouldn't need 16 gigabytes of RAM to load up Facebook, right? It was originally just some simple website. I'm just roaming and rambling now, so I've no idea where that hut was. I'm hoping I might stumble across it. You know what I mean? Like, we don't need this technology, but people see Linux as like, I'll just put Linux on an old computer. It'll be great. You can just do what you want to do with it still. It'll work. But it's not even the case with Linux anymore, really. I mean, you can get more out of an old computer on Linux, but the minute you hit the web browser, you're kind of scuppered because it needs the RAM. And not just the RAM, it's quite CPU intensive when you compare it to what it used to be, when it was just displaying documents. So a lot of the actions happened on the back end. I don't know if that's where the problem lies, the fact that we rely on the front end so much now. Oh, pumpkins. But I just think it doesn't have to be as inefficient as it is. And I'm not saying I'm the guy to fix it, because I'm not. I've not got the skills to write a new web standard. Most of us don't. It would take some kind of consortium to do that. But I just think, where did we go wrong? We just made things massively inefficient. We've tested things on developer systems which have, say, 16 gigabytes of RAM, or or more or less. But we've tested things on fairly powerful hardware without even considering what someone on even 1 gigabyte of RAM at one point. That was loads. That was loads for some people. And there's no reason it shouldn't be still, really. But yeah, we've just taken the gift we've been given of technology, and we've made it inefficient. I don't know why we've done that. I mean, yeah, I probably am an inefficient developer myself, based on the fact that my projects use a load of npm packages. I'm probably going to die again in a sec. And yeah, every npm package you includes 3,000 other npm packages, and it's a nightmare to maintain. You spend half your time on sort of bringing packages up to date for some low security vulnerability that probably doesn't actually affect your application in a practical sense. That's a real frustration with modern development, because I feel like half the vulnerabilities submitted are like, they are nitpicks, if that. I'm not saying we shouldn't code securely. I'm just saying that potentially we're over egging the pudding a bit. We should be able to develop software first. I mean, we should develop software securely, but for us developers, the focus should be develop software. Maybe we need a software security engineers. Maybe that's the next role to come, so that the actual developers, because you get a security team, they don't actually do anything. They just give you these they give you this list of things to remediate, and good job, pat on the back, security team. But now, look, the development team's got to spend 4 weeks on picking, well, maybe re-architecting something even, because you found this vulnerability, and it's fine. You go and find the vulnerability, but then who's implementing the remediation for that? I just think there's so much wrong with the world of modern software development. and it makes me miss the times of Minecraft 1.5.2, which, when you think about it, isn't even all that long ago. But yeah, I've lost my base. I can't find where it was. I'll leave it here for today, but I might go and look for it later on, and then see if I can carry on building something. But yeah, I've enjoyed walking around this world and just having a ramble anyway. Yeah, apologies if this wasn't the quality content you tuned in for, but yeah, it's Sunday. I'm chilling out. I've got a cup of coffee. I'm just playing Minecraft and having a ramble about the state of the world and software development. So yeah, have a good one, guys. Hope you have a lovely Sunday. I'll catch you in the next one.